Alright, this is going to be a fairly quick one, to be honest. I'm just going to make a couple of observations. Yeah, so you've got the Sherman M4. This is the new one of the new American tanks that's been put in game. I did actually highlight this in another video, but the sound got muted by Twitch, so I'm just doing this plain and simple. Yeah, normally when a tank goes into combat, you see this here? That's what is known as a viewing port. Yes, when they're in combat, that drops down just as that, just like that. The reason for that is so that the shots don't go through this part of the tank or through that little gap there, as you can see there. Now, you might think, oh, that would blind the guy inside, he wouldn't be able to see where he's going, but no, because they've got these little periscopes here and here on top of the hatches so they can see out. Yes. Now, therefore, you know, they're not blinded at all. But in combat, as I already said, these go down like that. Not like that, they go down like that. In game, that doesn't happen. That stays as it is. So whether or not, I assume, because this is Gaijin, yeah, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. The armor is supposed to be the same thickness there. Or is it? That's 50 effectiveness. Yeah. Yeah, that's about right, I think. It's hard to say because the yes, there's no difference apparently between that section of armor and this section of armor. Yeah, yeah, I'm not going to go into great detail on that because this is just Gaijin basically rushing things out again in order to try and make a quick buck or dollar or ruble from whoever is going to pay him. Yeah, I mean, why is there no difference between those? Because Gaijin haven't bothered modeling it in. I'm sure they will do it at some point, but yeah, because it's Christmas and they wanted your money. That's the reason why you've got this sloppy job. Anyway, that's the first Sherman you get with regards to its armor. I'm not going to go into detail now with regards to its armor layout. It is fairly straightforward. You know, don't shoot it from the front, really. If you're going to shoot it from the front, even. Aim around about here or just either side of the mantlet. That should wreck it pretty easily. The armor on the this part here actually isn't very thick. I don't know if you saw what I was just showing you there. So yeah, 70mm if you dropped a shot onto it like that. Turret, yeah, as I say, the mantlet is fairly thick, but you will again be able to punch through that area around there or around there. The mantlet itself, yeah, you could actually punch through that fairly easy as well. And that. So yeah, basically just shoot at it as much as you want, really, you would get it. Let's just have a quick look at the other Sherman. Now the interesting thing that I noticed about this tank, I'll give you a few seconds to think if you can actually, well, to see if you can spot it. Yes. Just scroll it around. There we go, that's full 360. So, I wonder how many of you actually spotted the glaring error, I should say, the Gaijin have included on this tank. No? No one spotted that? Okay, well, I'll explain it then. It's this. This area here. Now, this tank is the Sherman. The Sherman, the Germans nicknamed the Tommy Cooker because it had a tendency to catch fire whenever it was penetrated. And it also had a gasoline engine as well, which, yes, not so good for catching fire. Diesel doesn't burn so easily, which, yeah, a lot of tanks now use as far as fuel requirements go. But this used to use petrol, and that was one of the reasons why it used to catch fire so easily. That and the armor is pretty poor on it as well. Anyway, now the interesting thing that I noticed on this tank is, yeah, Gaijin Logic number 1. Oh, what number is this now? Probably, I don't know, 3012. Yeah, this being the Tommy Cooker, they've actually put 2 jerry cans there on the front of the tank. I mean, can you just tell me how or where they came up with the idea for that from? It's just so fucking comical and bad. I mean, it doesn't actually make any difference to the game as far as I'm aware, but, you know, you go into combat, so what do? You put your fuel cans on the front of your tank. Yes, Because that will stop all fire. Yes. The only way to beat a fire is to pour more fire into it. No. I'm being sarcastic, and that's another bug. Well, not necessarily bug, but idiocy. From Gaijin. Of course, you've Gaijin, yeah. As you can see there, it's just, yeah, comical. Yeah. As far as its performance in game goes, yeah, it's a Sherman. Similar to the one I just showed you. Shoot it, just get it. It's not a real problem to destroy one of these things. If you're having problems with it, then maybe stop using high explosive or shrapnel rounds. That might help. Let me think. Was there anything else? Oh yeah, another interesting bug I spotted earlier. I have already done this in a video. Tiger 1. You note the shot cam. It doesn't necessarily work for it. It's bugged. So yeah. Although it'll show you where you hit the tank, it'll also show you that you didn't penetrate, no matter how many times you hit the tank. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but it looks like it came with the patch yesterday. So yeah, that's an interesting one as well. Was there any more that I saw? Just think. Ah, yes, this old chestnut. I did see this earlier on as well. I did comment on it on Twitch as well, but it got muted as well. Basically, yeah, you've got the KV-111 here. Let me just put this into play. I'll show you easier. Okay, so you've got the KV-1L. Sorry, KV-1L11. It's got a barrel rating of 3.7. Okay. 3.7. Yeah, that's not. That is actually quite high, considering how effective this tank is, to be honest. Because it's not very effective. It's not very quick. And generally speaking, you will get ripped to pieces by lesser tanks if you're left on your own, which does happen occasionally. Anyway, the thing that I noticed with this anyway was, yeah, barrel rating. Like I said, the barrel rating could possibly be do with getting dropped down to maybe 3.3 at most, I'd say. But the interesting thing I did see, I'm actually this is a bit of an unusual one for me, to be honest, because I'm actually in favour of a change of battle rating in a positive way for a Russian vehicle. Yes, that's not going to happen very often. So yeah, you've got this at battle rating 3.7. This is its kind of older brother. Has a slightly better gun. And when I say slightly, I mean very slightly. And it has a little bit more armor on the front hull. I believe it's just there. Let me just double check that. I don't think it's on the main part of the hull. I think this is still the same. Yeah, see that. I mean, that's another bug there. That's basically telling me that there's space armor there, but it won't tell me the overall thickness with the armor behind it. So there's no real way of me being able to calculate that. I can roughly calculate it, but no, not easily. So yeah, you've got space armor added on there of 25mm, and it should be there as well. Yep. Other than that, and the gun change, there's nothing new about this tank as far as its comparison with this one goes. So you'd possibly think that maybe it's got a slightly higher battle rating than its younger brother. Bear in mind it's got about 3.7. You'd probably maybe wonder, and well, maybe not wonder, but you'd probably think, so maybe around about 4 would be sufficient. You know, it's only got an extra 25mm of space armor there, and the gun is, like I say, slightly better. Not by much at all, to be honest. So yeah, that's at battle rating 3.7. So you really expect this one to be at the other one, sorry, this one. To be at battle rating maybe 4.0, and you'd be wrong. It's at battle rating 4.7, which is a full point above what it's at the moment for the original one, and basically means that this one's even worse as far as performance goes and for matchmaking than that one. The previous one, yeah, the L11, that won't face King Tigers with that battle rating, or sorry, won't face Tigers with that battle rating, or Panthers for that matter. This one will. And against a Tiger, your gun won't penetrate. Against a Panther, your gun won't penetrate from the front. Both tanks, however, the Panther D and the Tiger 1 will penetrate this from the front, straight through that armor, there and there. The gun does make enough difference to make it a formidable opponent against those kind of tanks, and therefore with it, coupled with its maneuverability, it means that you can't outflank them, and generally speaking, means you're going to get shat on. But yeah, that's the other KV one. I don't think there was any more bugs that I saw earlier. I mean, that's not necessarily a bug. That's just Gaijin being, retarded Gaijin, which is kind of like, the way they do things. Right. Yeah. The only other thing I did really notice, again, this is to do with aircraft. Yeah, it was more to do with the MiG-9s. These aircraft, yeah, they're bad. At the end of the day, stock, they're bad. I mean, they're really bad. Fully upgraded, they're probably just bad. But the battle rate for these aircraft basically fucks them in the anus quite hard, because they're neither here nor there. They're not, with that battle range, they're neither a post-war jet or a World War II jet, which basically means that they can end up in battles with this aircraft, the R-28, and this aircraft, the LA-15. Oh, and also this aircraft, the MiG-15. Now, you might think that's not so bad, but that's on its own side. So I'm on about realistic battles, obviously. So what will happen is you will end up against equivalent enemy aircraft at that battle range, which, let's just have a quick look, will basically include stuff like, I believe it would be, oh yes, the Banshee, the P-80 and F-80. I think the F-84, yep, and no, you won't get the first Sabre. I think they might have upgraded the battle range for that. But against the Germans, bear in mind battle range 7. To be honest, you won't really find that many games against Germans, because not many people play German jets, at least not at that battle range. Most of the time people play German jets, they play that, the MiG-15 or the CL-13. Occasionally you might see Hortons, but they're getting rarer now because people have twigged to the fact that they're broken. HE-162s as well, you won't see many of those about, so chances are you will end up against either the English or the Americans. Now the English at battle range 7.0, they will get the Sea Meteor. They'll also get the Meteor Mark III, but that's lower battle range, so chances are you won't get that one, to be honest. You'll more likely get the Sea Meteor, the Venom, and yeah, the Mark IVs. Both of those two Mark IVs. You'll get probably the Vampire as well and the Canberra. You won't. Oh, actually, no, you will get that Canberra as well. So yeah, basically MiG-9 current battle rating with the current matchmaker basically means it's a no-go. Unless you're in a squad, I would not recommend flying that plane because you will get fucked quite quickly. Okay, now the only other thing I'm going to mention in this little bug review is the practice rounds, which are still in game. Now, you might have seen my other video, rather, I should say, with regards to this. Now, basically, if you just have a look at this aircraft, for example, this is a top-tier Japanese jet, and you'd think that maybe, it would be fairly good. It is not bad, I'll give it that. But the biggest flaw that you have with these aircraft is this: 1/4 of your ammunition is a practice or are practice shells. So every after you fire 4 shots, say from each cannon, 1/4 of that ammunition you fired. So yeah, 4 shots from each cannon. So that's 4 4 16. Yeah, 16. Yeah. Yeah, 4 of those shots will be practice shells, which basically ammo that, yeah, who's to say what it does? Because Gaijin won't tell you, not easily anyway. And yeah, it's interesting how only certain nations get practice rounds regularly. If I just show you, I will show you. But yeah, basically all of the Japanese aircraft, apart from 2, I have checked this now. There's only 2 aircraft that don't get practice rounds for the 20mm or 30mm cannons. And I believe one of them is this one. Well, no, that one. Possibly. Let me just do a check. No, that one does actually get it. Sorry, my mistake. It's not that one. It's this one here. The A6M2 Mod 11. I think. Is that right? Yes. There we go. So yeah, the A6M2 Mod 11, that doesn't get practice rounds for some reason. Yeah. Try and figure that one out if you can, because personally, I can't understand Gaijin logic to save my life. So yeah, there's that one, and the J2M3. This one as well doesn't get practice rounds. There we go. But every other Japanese 20mm and 30mm cannon on Japanese aircraft, it gets practice rounds. And you'll notice that I did say Japanese cannon, because they do get premiums, and yeah, the premiums they get German cannon, which they're different. They don't get practice rounds with the Germans. Yes. Anyway, so all of the practice rounds, yeah, gonna get stuffed basically by Gaijin over that one. There's not the only thing you can really do about it is to do something stupid, which is like this, for example. So yeah, I've got this the L2Y2 Kai version 3. The only way to get around using practice shells. Bear in mind, there's the practice shells in the default belt. There's practice shells in the Omni ammo. There's practice shells in the ground targets. That's the only one that doesn't have practice shells, which is the one I would recommend. And that one also has practice shells as well. So yeah, you don't want to be using basically any of the other clips, well, belts rather, apart from that one there. The only way to get around having to do that to begin with is to buy it with gold, which is going to cost you 240 gold. That's I think if you were to do that, well, buy that from Gaijin, you're probably looking at about €1 just for that amount. So yeah, you can get around it, but you're gonna have to pay for it basically, as Gaijin want your money. So yeah, actually I did just remember something else with regards to the 20mm Japanese cannons. I don't think the bombers fall under the same category. They actually, I think, are exempt from this little abnormality, to use a phrase. Some might call that bias. I personally probably would do as well, actually, because there's only two nations, as I say, that get this issue. One being the Japanese, the other one being the British. All of the British Hispanos get practice rounds, including the top tier ones there, and there. I'll just show you. There we go, practice shells. No practice shell. No practice shell. No practice shell, and no practice shell. So there you go. I mean, your default clip is basically screwing you over. Well, I say it's the default clip. It's not. It's Gaijin. Gaijin basically just saying to you, right, well, you've got up to the jets now. Now you can stop paying us some money. Because otherwise you're going to have a quarter of your ammo being useless. Simple as that, really. That's the best explanation for it that I can imagine. That, or maybe they just think, oh right, rather than actually, make it a fair, balanced game, what we'll do is we'll nerf down two of the nations so that their planes aren't so effective. Which, yeah, that would also point to the bias as well, in my opinion. And just to show you that I'm not, just making this shit up, I'll just go back over to the Russians. But before that, I'll just show you one other aircraft. So yeah, this one as well. There you go, practice shells. Okay, so jump over to the Russians, and alright, aviation. I can't actually check the Spitfire, the premium Spit, because it's not shown there, but that one probably actually does get practice rounds as its default with belt as well. So, even if you have spent like 7,900 gold on a premium aircraft, unless you change the belt, you're still going to be fine practice rounds. Now, as far as the Russian aircraft go, just have a look at this. No practice rounds. No practice rounds. No practice rounds, and no practice rounds. No practice rounds, no practice rounds, and no practice rounds. Yes, and that's just one of the jets. Even the MiG-9, considering how bad that is, that doesn't get this same issue as well. Yep, no practice rounds, and no practice rounds. So, yeah, MiG-9, it's a shit aircraft, but it still gets better ammunition than the aircraft that it might face. I.e. the Japanese or British. So yeah, let me just have a quick look at some of the other stuff. We've got the Act-1 back down here. That has 120mm cannon. And let's see. No practice rounds. 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 And no practice rounds. That, my friends, is bias. They can dress it up however colourfully they want, but it's bias. It's as simple as that. Right. I will now point it. I mean, I would go through every other Russian aircraft, but you can do that yourselves, guys, to be honest, because, If you've got access to the game, you can check it. There aren't any aircraft in the Russian tree, apart from maybe the premium Spitfire that I can't actually check because it's not shown here, because it's one of those, you got to pay us footloads of money to actually get this aircraft. If you're that stupid enough, then yeah, go and check it out. But personally, no, you're not getting 7,000 gold off me for one aircraft. That's just ridiculous. Anyway, on to the Germans. The only aircraft in the German trees that have the practice round issue is the Premium Tempest. You pay 7,100 gold for this aircraft, which is roughly about £60. Yes, I did say £60 there. No, sorry, that was wrong. It's not about £60. It's probably in a region of around about £35. Yeah, that's roughly speaking. Maybe about 30. But yeah, I'd probably closer to the £35 mark. So you paid £30 for this aircraft, let's say. Have a look at the modifications. All of these will be unlocked, so you can change the belt on it straight away. If you don't realise though that you are using this aircraft, the belt ammo, without checking it, you will be firing practice shells though. So again, I mean, although you won't get fucked in the ass by this so much, because you can literally just change it straight to a different ammo type as soon as you get into a game, or unless you know about the practice shell issue, yeah, you're going to be firing practice rounds, which is again around about a quarter of your ammo wasted, so 200 rounds. And finally, we go on to the Americans. Now, with the Americans, I think it's the same issue with them. They don't get practice rounds on the vast majority of the cannon-equipped aircraft, and we'll just check a couple of them now. So yeah, no practice rounds there. But on certain things like, for example, the Premium Spit, which is 6,900 gold, that's similar price to the one I just showed you for the Germans. Again, it also gets practice rounds. But like all premiums, as I've already mentioned, you can just change that straight away. But if you don't realise it, then yeah, as I said before, quarter of your cannon ammo, and in this case that's around about 60 rounds, is just wasted because it's practice rounds. I think there's only one other aircraft that I can think of that has this issue as well with the practice rounds, and that, which is quite embarrassing in my opinion for Gaijin, is this aircraft here. Yep, there we go. That is the best jet currently available in game, and it gets practice rounds in the default belt. Yes, that's the reward you get for basically grinding through all of these other aircraft. You get to the top tier Sabre, and you find that it's got practice rounds. So again, a quarter of your ammo is wasted, which yes, isn't that much. It's around about 115 rounds in this case. Well, I say it isn't that much. It's a quarter of your ammo, so it's a pain in the arse really. And the only way to get it is to spend gold, which is 290 gold in this case. And yeah, it's basically, as I said before, a way of Gaijin to get money from you, even though you've actually, you've probably spent money on the game already to get down here anyway. But the fact is that you've grinded through, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 aircraft to get to this one. Actually, it will be more than that anyway. I know it will be, because you've got to actually research more aircraft to get down to the second and third tiers and so on. So yeah, you're looking at probably having to research maybe 30 aircraft to get to this one, which is supposed to be the best aircraft in that tree, only to find out that quarter of the ammo that you're going to be firing is impotent. Yes. This is how Gaijin likes to treat its customers, and I for one am getting a little bit frustrated with it, so I am going to be pointing out these bugs on a regular basis. If they do get fixed, then yeah, I will make a video to congratulate Gaijin to maybe waking up to not fucking the consumers or customers in the ass, as they are trying to do at the moment, in order to try and get as much money out of them as possible. As I've already stated in one of my previous videos, I won't be paying any more money towards Gaijin, and personally, well, not personally, but I would actually recommend that to pretty much anyone else who's interested in getting into this product, because currently I wouldn't recommend it. There are certain elements of the game that are really good, but the amount of bugs that are in game at the moment really puts me off playing this game and puts me off recommending it to other players, or friends rather. Anyway, that's going to be enough for this little broadcast. I will be back on fairly soon with War Thunder again. I just wanted to get this out of the way so that I could get a video sorted. Thanks for watching anyway, guys, and I'll be back shortly.